Hi, this is Michael Uslan. You're listening to Batman on Film.
I'm vengeance.
I have given a name to my pain.
The Batman.
Always waiting for some Batman to save you.
It's simple. We kill the Bat of Gotham. I'm Batman.
Welcome to the Social Hour, a Batman on Film podcast. I am the founder of Batman on Film, Bill Ramey, and this is episode number 137. Let's ride. Ryan Lauer. Let's ride. Senior BOF Contributor.
I think that's appropriate for you to say concerning the topic of today's episode.
Exactly.
We're hopping in. We're riding.
We're
I wish I could drive, but yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we are getting in and we are going to ride down through the cinematic lane of Batman on Film. See what I did there?
Yep.
I am a amateur professional broadcaster.
Yes.
And we're gonna rank.
Nobody could tell because this isn't video, but you're from Texas.
Yeah, I am.
Nobody can tell,
am.
but like, yeah,
No,
if they
you
could see
can't
what I
tell.
see, that you're giving off some Texas vibes.
Yes.
It was a rough weekend for you with
Don't
football.
say- yeah, it was, but look, don't tell everybody I have a 10-gallon hat on.
Yeah.
A vest. I have a sheriff's badge, and I'm also wearing chaps. You
And
just don't
chaps,
see it 'cause I'm sitting down, because after I'm done with this, I got to go out and rustle up the cattle.
Yeah.
And
He's
make
on a
sure
horse right now, and he's got a
Yeah.
lasso. He's ready to go.
Yeah, it was a rough weekend football wise. And the fan, my football fan in me,
Mhm.
as you probably well know, you being a fan of the Michigan Wolverines,
Mhm.
that losses, they take a while to get over because you get so emotionally invested in your teams. And,
Oh yeah. And it
then,
almost
yeah.
it hurts more for college because every game is so crucial.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I've witnessed plenty of times of come October. There's some. So this weekend specifically, they play Indiana. Indiana somehow, some way finds some good offense, and they give Michigan headaches. It's almost guaranteed. So it'll be a nerve-wracking game. Sometimes Michigan pulls away pretty good, but you have that, and then up comes with some rivalries of like Michigan State, and then Penn State is really good, and then Ohio State's always in November. And if you lose one of those, there's I don't know, it drops you. So I know what it's like when Texas had a tight one last weekend and they dropped some spots, but they're still in the top 10. And you just hang in there in that top 10, and
Yeah.
they'll have a good chance.
They should, if they take care of their business, get a rematch with Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship game. And that's the other thing, is that both my teams, college professional, lost to rivals like Oklahoma and Texas. Hate Oklahoma, hate the 49ers, but the Cowboys. So whatever.
We'll have some questions on that.
Hold on. I will say, sports-wise, I am.
Yeah.
On the other hand, they've had some success with the Texas Rangers.
There you go.
And the American League Championship Series.
Doing some things.
Had a hell of a year. So there you go.
With the Cowboys, so when your team, how long do you stick around? So let's just specifically talk of that game and see if that's usually how it is, if it happens. Of you start to, how long into the game do you feel like, okay, I know how this is going to end and you're done watching? Or do you nope, I'm watching all the way through, I'm going to take my hits?
Oh, I was out in the third quarter.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was
out.
Yeah, sometimes I guess it just depends on how much much pain I want to endure when if I'm watching.
No,
and
no,
it's
I'm
just
not
like, oh,
gonna.
man,
Look, I'm a diehard. You know, I speak with my wallet too. You know, I'm a season ticket holder, the Cowboys, and I buy gear, but I'm not one of these saying, yeah, real fans stay to the end. Bullshit. If I'm getting my ass kicked, if I'm at the stadium, I'm getting out. You know, before the traffic, ahead of the traffic. And if it's a night game like this one was, you know, hell, why stay up late watching that BS? So there you go. So whatever.
And I've been like I just said too for the NFL. I mean, it's 5 games in. So many teams are 3-2, so many others are 2-3, and it's just like it's early on. It's whatever.
Yeah.
I was kind of unaware of whatever this beef is between Dallas and San Francisco, and I know that there's some legacy games and matches and stuff like that too from like from the 80s and 90s. But I mean, I guess my attention has just seen of where the Cowboys and the Giants and the Cowboys and the Eagles that I didn't know that there was some. And then I was seeing that there's some trash talking back and forth and stuff like that too. I'm like, oh, I was unaware.
I've experienced the highs and lows. It's, of course, they're not in the same division, so it's always playoffs, and always seems to be, a lot of them were NFC championship games. I mean, going back to the 70s, the Cowboys, won a couple NFC championship games over the 49ers. And then you go to 81 and the catch in the NFC championship game, Joe Montana, Dwight Clark over Everson Walls. I was 16. I was a sophomore, and still haunts me to this day. I cried. I'm not ashamed to admit that. And then, that was the beginning of that was kind of the end of the 70s Cowboy dynasty and the beginning of the 49ers 80s dynasty. And then you turn around in the 90s, and they played 3 NFC championship games in a row. Cowboys won 2 of the 3. And I went to one. I went to it was after the 93 season in old Texas Stadium. And the Cowboys won the NFC championship game and went on to beat Buffalo for their 2nd straight Super Bowl. And then there was just drought because both teams kind of fell off the map for a long time. And then here, recently it's ramped back up. So in the playoffs. So currently the 49ers have won. Well, they won the last 2. They met in the playoffs. They won. The 49ers won the last 2. And then, of course, this game was hyped up like beyond words. And Cowboys stayed in Dallas, didn't get on the plane to travel out to Santa Clara to play 49ers. So, and they have a hell of a team, the 49ers. So, I mean, let's go. I'll get over it. And
just one game.
We'll see what happens. We got 12 games left to play.
For the second episode in a row, that is your BOF sports update.
Yes.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
There you
hitting
go.
Hitting all the sectors.
Even history.
I'm also some history. There you go.
I also fancy myself amateur Cowboy historian. So, not because I lived a lot of that stuff. So there you go. All right. So as I said, was Let's Ride, and Brian said that's appropriate. We're gonna ride down through Batman on film cinematic history, and we're gonna jump into our favorite non-Batmobile Bat vehicles, if that makes sense. So
you also fancy yourself as an amateur Batman historian. And
yes,
you took me to class right before we even recorded, because there were some that I didn't forget about. I was like, oh my God, I don't even remember. Oh my God.
I counted 16 non-Batmobile live action Bat vehicles.
Goodness gracious.
Batman on film vehicles going back to the 66. Now, we did throw in one that, granted, it's been a while since I watched the 66 movie, but what the hell? We're going to throw it in
Mhm.
anyway. So by our count, we've got the bat boat from 66, the bat copter 66, the bat cycle 66, bat wing from 89, Batman 89, bat ski boat, Batman Returns, bat wing, Batman Forever, bat hammer, Batman and Robin, the Redbird Robin cycle, I guess, Batman and Robin, bat sled, Batman and Robin, bat pod, the Dark Knight, and also in Rises, the bat from the Dark Knight Rises, the bat cycle from the Batman, the Batwing, Flying Fox, Nightcrawler, all from the BBS / Justice League / Zack Snyder Justice League era, and the Bat Cycle from the Flash, the Affleck Bat Cycle.
There you go.
From the Flash. So if I'm missing one, I'm sure someone out there will remind me and take my.
Actually, Bill, there's 17 because you forgot about this one.
Yeah,
one of those deals, which that's fine. Okay.
Do we want to count? Do we want to count the Bat Glider from Batman and Batman Returns? The one that comes out from his cape. That's what I would say.
It's
no,
not a vehicle.
Not a vehicle. Yes. So, okay, that just hit me. Do we count? Do we count the Batwing from the Flash as a different Batwing from Batman 89? If so, we're gonna have to up this to 17.
So this is we're gonna correct it live. Here now we're up to how many? I think it's different.
Okay, we'll throw it in there.
That Batwing from 89, I don't know if many people realize this, but when it went up through the clouds and went in front of the moon, it was a perfect bat symbol.
Yeah.
This Batwing from the Flash doesn't do that symbol, so I think they're different.
Okay, 17.
It was subtle. It was subtle in 89.
Yes. Very. Yeah. 17 then, okay?
All right.
And we're gonna rank them, our personal rankings. We're gonna give you our top 5. And I liked a lot of these. I mean, this was a tough one.
It was.
Because a lot of these I liked. A lot of these I like quite a bit. But, well, we just went with it. We went with our. I had to make a decision, and I'm sticking to it.
I think you and I on these rankings, I've found that our top 2s are usually pretty in sync, and it's the 3 through 5 that's a fun mix up. Of course, when there's more, so now you've gotten up to 17, and we're choosing 5. That makes it more fun of anything's possible. When there's 7, which was what, Batsuits, maybe, or live action Bruce Wayne's or something like that, and we're picking 5, then it's it's a little overlap. But this should have, I don't know, this should have some surprises, and then there'll be some that seem probably pretty obvious.
I think so. All right, so we'll start with number 5, of course, and as always, Brian, you go first.
Oh, thank you. Number 5 for me is the Batcopter from Batman the movie, 1966. Totally fits the show, totally fun. I know it's fits the you know what I mean. I know it's the movie, but it fits the interpretation, all that stuff. It's a helicopter, but damn it, it's got a bat symbol on there, so it's the freaking Batcopter. Things like when you watch as a kid, that it sticks around with you more too. So when I did watch that as a kid, and it was just like, oh my gosh, Batman's even got a Batcopter,
exactly,
sort of deal.
Exactly,
so, and that sticks with you, and it's fun. Which that whole, obviously, that I've probably said before in here too, like, the whole vibe of that show is supposed to be fun and whatnot. And so, I mean, it's absolutely fitting to what it strives toward, and it was, I don't know. I still see it and I like it. And I think I've seen a Hot Wheels out on that, and I've never picked it up.
Yes, I have one.
Okay.
I have one. Yeah, absolutely. I have one.
Look at my face. My shocked look on my face that you have it.
I have it. And pretty, it's cool. It's a little Hot Wheels version of that. Yes. My number 5 is the Bat Cycle from the Batman.
All right.
It's simple. You've got the the front shield is in the shape of the bat head. It's black. It's simple, like the movie. It's not full of a bunch of pomp and circumstance. It's not I don't know what the word I want.
It's not toyetic.
Yes, it's not a lot of extra pizzazz thrown in, bat pizzazz to jazz it up and stuff. So it's the Bat Cycle from the Batman. There you go. Number 5.
Also a good one. Did you buy the McFarlane? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Again, my shocked face.
Yeah, it's right over there. I do have it. I just hope that Batman drives safely while riding it.
Of course.
Because I don't want those ears from the bat motif on the front to impale him. Yeah.
There were 3 Lego launched 3. So now it's my turn to shock you. Lego released 3 small Lego sets for the movie at the same time, and one of them was Batman on the bike. I think it was that was the Catwoman, him and Catwoman sets, and putting together the little Lego version of that bike was really cool.
Very cool. Yes. All right. Number 4.
Number 4 is the Bat from Dark Knight Rises. You might remember this. When spy pics were released of the Bat in the filming, and I won't say it wasn't like the beginning stages or whatever, but as far as like social media postings and stuff like that, Dark Knight Rises was a different beast than the Dark Knight, and we saw stuff like that, and we got to see the reactions of people of like, this is what it looks like, because it was it was a vehicle underneath, basically driving the Bat around. And I mean, similar to the Tumblr, I guess, except I was even more a little hesitant, like, how's this gonna work? Which is, a lesson that many like people and fans just don't learn of, like, wait for the movie. Because then when you saw it in that movie and the way that it, the mixed sounds, like the extras, I think, have it too, of like how they created the sound of it as it's taken off. And then the design of it too is just very, very original, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a cool design, especially getting some airtime at the end of the movie too. Like, you really get to see what that thing gets to do. And so I think it's a cool vehicle.
It is. It's almost like almost like a copter in a way, a helicopter in a way, not really a jet, it's more in line with, with the helicopter. So it's
and
cool.
It comes in black.
Comes in black,
which is nice.
It kind of it does remind you aesthetically of the Tumblr, a bit, so the kind of, there you go. It's all connected.
It's all connected. Yeah. It all as it's supposed to, for that interpretation of Batman. It's supposed to, there's supposed to be a common thread of the vehicles that he uses, and absolutely this fits in with the other vehicles from those movies. So
my number 4 is the Batwing from Batman Forever.
Ooh.
Okay. All I can say is I think it's cool. That's why I like it. So I went through the list of all of these, and I was trying to determine, and I said, I just like the Batwing from Batman Forever. That's why it's on my list at number 4. I like I liked almost with the Batmobile from that movie. I like the kind of animalistic type skeleton. Am I describing it the right way? With the outside seems the light shine out, and it seems like kind of a the structure of it, and you can see. I think
lights up.
Who Barbara Ling, isn't she the production designer on that film?
Oh man,
I like the Batwing. I am trying to find one. Who was it? Was it Kenner back in the day that put that out? I don't remember. Pete has one, but
I'm blanking.
If you find one boxed, I mean, they're ridiculous. And the price is ridiculous. So
Yeah,
I
I did.
haven't got.
And well, something to add to that that's really cool too. So I just typed it in also, and I remember seeing that packaging, and I mean, seeing that Batman Forever logo of the question mark with the bat symbol, like, oh, warms my heart every time.
Yeah.
But in the movie, as it's where the Batwing, you know what? You don't know how Batman gets in and out of that thing, but it doesn't matter. But because it looks cool how it's hanging there, and definitely is complete. Like, yeah, this is how a bat would hang in the cave. So the Batwing's going to hang like this in the cave. And then
How
as
does
it takes
Batman-
off too
yeah.
out the back, it's very
How's
cool.
he get in it? It doesn't matter. He's Batman. That's how he gets in
Exactly.
it.
He's Batman. How do you make it back to Gotham City and Rises? Doesn't matter.
That's right. He's Batman. And that should just be, you say, well, because he's Batman, and it should be, the answer should be, yeah, okay. That's it.
Well, no, but
All
what
right.
about
Yeah.
actually, no, it doesn't matter. He's Batman.
Yes. Number 3.
Number 3, let's stick with Batman Forever. Because I like the Batboat from Batman Forever.
Okay. Yeah.
Batman doesn't get to drive it, but it's his. And I, just like I wanted the Batwing, I wanted that Batboat, and I didn't get it. I know. But I don't know. I think it's a cool design. Similar to, like you said too. So the Batmobile, Batwing, and then the Batboat all have, that whole I don't want to say it. I mean, you were describing it as almost like a skeleton, but that's where like the blue lights are shining through on the side.
Yes.
Same thing for the Batboat, just like the
It's
Batwing.
like it's like an exoskeleton but the insides are lights, and you know what?
Yeah.
And the lights shine through. It's all I can say. It's cool. They look cool. That's
fun.
it. Yeah.
And as there's been a lot of love for Batman Forever on these rankings, because there's a lot of love for that movie, because I've said many times, of that hit me at the right age. I was the right audience for it, of like, I drank up everything Batman Forever, including the Batwing, the Batboat. But my critical mind, even at my young age when I saw it, though, was one was like, Robin's not in the movie much, and he's only there for Batman to bail him out. And then was also like, well, we only got like a minute of the Batwing and the Batboat, and they both got blown up.
Yeah.
I was like, well, that kind of sucks. I wanted to see more of them do things, but just pure aesthetically and looking at them and stuff and how they take off and all that. Yeah, I like the Batboat.
Since you brought that up, I am stand corrected. That's 18 now. We're at 18.
Whoa.
I had omitted
breaking news.
by mistake the Batboat from Batman Forever on my list.
Okay.
So 18. 8.
Will we get 19 by the end? Stick around.
You never know. Hey y'all, it's Bill Ramey, founder of Batman on Film. Let's take a quick pause in this podcast for these words from our sponsor. Number 3 for me is the Bat from The Dark Knight Rises. And
All
for
right.
everything we've said before, has the Bat ever been on display for people to check out? Do you know? Because I was just wondering that we brought it up, because there may have been, it probably was model / CGI when we see it flying in the movie. And I know part of it was on like a crane, as they filmed. So I don't know if there's a full scale the Bat exists.
I don't know. They should have one.
Yes. Why didn't no one just make it and actually fly? Since he does everything for real.
He's a hack.
Yeah.
He's not going anywhere.
Yeah. Number 2
for me, the Batwing from 1989. Much like I have, similar. I could just say of like you did with the Batwing it's cool. Period. It's cool. And if you pay attention, and when it subtly shoots up in front of the moon above the clouds, it looks like the bat symbol.
Yeah, you got to really pay attention to that, because it's super subtle. Tim Burton just kind of ease that in real quick.
Yep.
Blink, you would have missed it type thing. So.
But I love that Batwing. That's a Batwing. There's no mistaking it. the charm of how Burton filmed the that finale with the Batwing
Yeah.
and everything is very cool. Still love it. Good stuff.
All right, my number 2 is the Batcopter from Batman 66.
Hey, there we go.
A lot of this is just why, because it's cool.
Yep.
But a lot of with, like you said, I remember the first time I saw that movie. The first time I remember seeing it on ABC. It was Saturday night movie of the week. Remember they had that on network TV, the movie of the week. It used to be on Saturdays.
Mm-hmm.
And they had Batman 66 on, and that helicopter. I was kind of like, he was like, oh, Batman he has a helicopter and a Batmobile and all of this, and it just nostalgia and just my reaction. I still, it's number 2, so I like it a lot. The Batcopter is cool.
Good stuff.
Batcopter is cool. All right,
a lot of fun. Okay, number 1. I have a feeling we might overlap, but I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe you're gonna surprise me with your pick. My pick, number 1, it was an instant in my head. Maybe a little bit of like, or would it be 2? And then I laughed and I was like, no, number 1. The Batpod. Love the Batpod. Moment it shot out of that Batmobile. What gets me, it happens once in The Dark Knight and then twice in Dark Knight Rises when the tires do the side deal flips. Like, oh my God, every single time. Still. And I've seen them. I can't even tell you how many times I've seen those movies. And I wait, focus, because I'm like, here it comes. Sort of deal. And I'm like, oh, it just sounds so good. It's so cool. And what a unique design. Very like creative and original idea that it shoots out of the tumbler, and in a way that doesn't like oh my gosh, why am I not retroactively, but it's believable when watching Begins after you see The Dark Knight that like when you see a front shot of the tumbler, like, that's right, the Batpod's in there.
Yeah.
It doesn't negate it in any way or doesn't make sense. It's like it just builds upon the model. So you can, the Batpod's in there. And then when he is like driving and getting around in the city and stuff, the tumbler serves its purpose. I love the tumbler. Go back to our Batmobile ranking episodes. But it's like the Batpod makes total sense for him to get around like he needs to with it. Too. And I mean, it's I don't know. It's a really cool design, and I've touched a real one, and didn't get booted from the Walmart parking lot. So I did a Tumbler tour of 2012. Yeah. And the Tumbler. I touched them both.
I have to touch a Batpod. I did not sit on the Batpod, however.
I would like to one day.
I would like to
probably pull my back now.
It. Apparently, it's a son of a bitch. So you son of a bitch. It's a son of a bitch to drive. To actually ride.
Could drive it.
Thing, So, but I will say yes, because my number 1 is also the Batpod from
Bam. There we go. I wondered. I was like,
Dark Knight. Dark Knight Rises. It's no one saw it coming out of the tumbler.
Mm-mm.
And I remember seeing it.
We didn't get that in any trailers or anything, right? We got him on the Batpod.
Got him on the Batpod.
But I don't know. I can't remember if it was talked about. It comes out of the tumbler before the movie or anything either, or if that was a good surprise.
In my memory, it was even I was surprised.
Gotcha.
I try to stay pretty spoiler. I was pretty spoiler free for the Dark Knight for the most part, even though everything I knew about it. But it coming out, the whole audience just goes, whoa, it's that whole reaction when it happens.
That whole scene, sorry, but I mean, we brought up the Dark Knight. You know how I am with the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Watching that with audiences in theaters, like that middle part even was just awesome. You could just, and this sounds very dramatic and whatnot, but it's almost just like you could feel the energy of the audience as we were all just like sucked in completely, just like my God, this is a freaking awesome movie, especially at that part with the stuff that's happening and everything. Like, oh, it's great. And the reactions at the right time. And yeah, that definitely felt when that shot out of like there were some claps and reactions. Everybody was holding themselves from just going, yeah,
Because you're like, holy shit, they blew up the Batmobile or the Tumbler,
I'm sad,
And,
but I'm also really excited.
and so Batman's in there and you see it count, goodbye.
Yep.
Good and
stuff.
that, and it with the sideways wheels, that's another another thing that the audience just tripped out about when I watched, watching it.
Yeah.
Bat Pod is one hell of a.
I just have that noise of the tire side flip.
Yeah.
Like replaying for a minute straight as a music track on my phone. How do you get jacked up, Ryan?
make it your phone. It just make it your ringtone, right?
Yeah. Yep. That's why I don't answer my phone anymore. I just let it ring, let it ride.
So yeah, I mean that's our top 5, and like I said, I like a lot of these, and it was tough to narrow it down to 5. I can't think of anything I just flat out didn't like.
I wasn't a
big fan of that Nightcrawler.
I was gonna say I wasn't a huge fan of the Nightcrawler. Maybe it was different, because listen how you and I just said too of like Batman 66 vehicles, or the copter and our reaction to that, and then Batman Forever stuff for me as a kid, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's cool. So I do understand when there is like, you can make toys of stuff now in my age now, and I'm kind of like, well, no, don't worry about the toys or anything. It's like, well, there is some validity to making the toys, because it does get kids excited and stuff. And I mean, there's a lot of us adults that toys get us excited. We have the money.
It gets this 57-year-old kid excited.
But I couldn't. Stuff. I just kind of thought the Nightcrawler was an ugly design. I didn't think that was very good. The Batman and Robin stuff, I looked through that because I'm like, I'm not dismissive of it. Yep, and that's what I thought too.
And I say that I actually like the Batmobile. I have no problem with it. I get it, but the Bat Hammer and the Redbird bike. The Redbird bike, I mean, it's fine.
I was gonna say, I don't mind the Redbird bike.
Bat sled,
that's kind of like the only one, and it's in the Batmobile is all right. But everything else, especially when they, go to the big fight against Freeze with all that stuff, I'm like, oh, that's just, I don't know. It's just ugly to me. But outside of that, so yeah, with the Batman and Robin vehicles, and then the Nightcrawler, there aren't really Bat vehicles that I don't really like.
Yeah, if I had
like, they're all cool.
I had to name runners up, and then you catch me on a different day, they may even one or two may enter the top 5, but the Bat Boat from 66 and the 89 Batwing. I kind of that was tough for me not putting in the top 5. Those stand out quite a bit. And even here's a little anecdote from Batman on Film history. I remember I asked Chris Corbould, who was the special effects, what was his actual title?
I thought he was special effects supervisor.
Yeah, okay, I want to make sure. Okay. I asked him, this was at Verizon's, and I asked him, hey, was there this is when we knew there was the Bat and all that, and I said, was there a vehicle you wanted to do that you didn't get to do for these films? He goes, and he said, I was always a big fan. I like boats, and I like the Bat boat from the old Adam West series. He said, I wanted to do some kind of Bat boat, and wasn't in the cards with Chris Nolan, so didn't include it. So there you go. There's a little. To
make you wonder if, like, just on his own time at home, he did he had an idea, came up with something.
I'd love to know
right?
Like, what would it have been?
Yeah. Yeah, just for
you
our
got-
own fun. What would you?
You got to. Would it be something similar? Look, I mean, aesthetically to like the bat and the tumbler. You know, that same kind of does. You know,
There it is, Bill. Just like the bat pod shoots out of the tumbler, the bat boat is like, it's almost like a sub drops out of the bat because
Yeah.
the bat's flying over water. Oh, there's a problem, and then Batman just drops in that.
Hey.
And then...
yeah.
So if they ever, you know,
So if you were in the bat carrying a nuclear bomb out to the sea,
yeah,
and you needed to escape,
that's what he did. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
look at us. See,
There you go.
Christopher Nolan, if you let us come up with our own ending, this is the gold that comes
Yeah.
out of it.
and then you know what you run off to Italy with a woman, Selena Kyle.
He pulled up next to her and said, "Get in." And so she hopped in and they drove to Italy in the boat. And yeah, there you go. I can't wait now. How did Batman escape the bomb in The Dark Knight Rises? Batman on film knows.
Yes.
Click here. They'll tell you.
Submarine. A submarine that can actually and it can get up on land and drive.
It's a Land Rover. So wheels could pop out from under that too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Look at this vehicle.
Yeah.
Let's get a hold of Chris. All the Chris's.
Well,
Be like, let's build some things.
Now we need now we need to tell Matt Reeves,
Yeah. We have this idea, okay?
Yeah.
And it will fit with the Batman. Okay.
Speaking of that, just as we finish up here.
I do have a vehicles question to come back to.
Okay.
So,
okay. Yes. What do you think? Maybe two different answers. What do you think Reeves may include in the Batman Part 2, Bat vehicle wise, which we haven't already seen? And what would you like? Is there anything you would like to see him do? Are you good with the two things we have right now?
I'm good with the two things we had. So it's extending outside of Batman. I think I do just prefer grounded.
Yeah.
On, in entertainment, I just lean toward that's my preference. Obviously doesn't mean that I don't enjoy fantastical, anything else like that. It's just like, oh, what do you lean towards the most? I'm like, yeah, grounded, I think. And so then also that in a literal sense too, I think I'm much more invested a Batmobile chase or a, bat pod or a bat cycle chase than like planes flying in the air.
Yeah.
So I'm good with, I'll be good with whatever he does. But the bat cycle and Batmobile, and I just feel like there'll be some upgrades, maybe on the bat cycle even too, because it was pretty basic, that they might do some subtle changes or a little more noticeable changes.
You get 12-year-old Dick Grayson Robin in the Batman Part 2, and you add sidecar.
You need a sidecar.
He rides sidecar.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think for the Batmobile, our tongues were firmly planted in our cheeks.
Firmly.
But for the Batmobile, I could see a change to it to allow a passenger, because I wouldn't be surprised if like what's something different. And I'm not saying it's because he has a sidekick in the sequel. It could be any ally, any civilian, something, I don't know, that there could be an interior Batmobile scene where there's something between him and somebody else. So I could see that where they make the change. The car is not too much different. However, now there is a passenger seat because somebody's going to be in it. I could see a change like that.
Alfred may jump in there.
Yeah, obviously. Or Batmite. Sorry.
Yeah,
okay.
That's
moving on.
Well, he can fly
because it's all connected
and disappear, into thin air because he's an imp.
Yep.
From another dimension.
But
Batmite.
But yeah, I don't know. I think some small changes to the Batmobile and the Batbike. What about you?
I'm with you as long as it is stuff that he does himself. I don't mind Lucius Fox being a character.
Oh,
in
Batman.
the
Okay.
Batman
Or
saga.
Bruce. Gotcha.
Bruce.
Okay.
I don't want them to, tread on already ground we've already covered with, Lucius Fox being his cue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It worked great. I love it in the Dark Knight trilogy. But if you're gonna have Lucius, hey, have him come in, and maybe Bruce gets more involved with Wayne Enterprises, and then he brings in a guy that maybe he knows from back in the day when someone who knew his father and helps him become more involved. As which he's not involved like at all. He doesn't even want to have anything to do with it.
Is that Al,
And
the mechanic from the animated series?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. And I would say that I just want him to continue. I want Bruce to make his bat stuff, and I don't need, I don't need a Herald. I don't need a Lucius Fox /Q Dark Knight trilogy version. I would say I wouldn't mind, this is a deep pull from back, like maybe in the 30s, early 40s, like the Bat Gyro.
The gyro.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, that I could see now. Now I have to figure out, okay, why would he need that? I know he's got the freaking what do you call those things?
Squirrel suit.
Squirrel suit. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I know he's got that, but that's just a different riff off of the cape in the Dark Knight trilogy being able to be a glider. It's just
Squirrel suit also not my favorite.
Yeah.
Only part of the movie that I'd be like, everything else great, but the squirrel suit, I'm like,
I mean, it's just a different. It serves the same purpose as what we've seen before. Even in the the Burton movies. But yeah, the gyro. I've got to figure out. Okay, why would you need that in an epic crime saga?
Mm-hmm. Epic
But
crime saga.
Have I said that at any point? Have I emphasized epic period crime period saga? If I need to do it again, I will. Epic crime saga.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
3 times said here. You heard it here first.
Matson Tomlin.
There you
so
go.
He's getting what can he cook up? Does he have a Bat Gyro in his bag of writing tricks? Does he have Leslie Tompkins in his bag of writing tricks?
I hope so. That'd be cool.
Does he have
Leslie Thompson is the one creating the vehicles. She creates the Bat Gyro.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah. She's a she's a psychologist, she's a doctor, but in her hobby time, she builds vehicles.
She builds bat vehicles. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. I love it.
She becomes the Q. That's a different way. So you don't have to have Lucius Fox doing it. She
the social hour idea generator for the live action Batman movies.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's a
so my
vehicle
question
generator. Yes, go ahead.
My question to you on the vehicles is if you were to do an all-inclusive top 5 Batman vehicles live action of the list we just did and Batmobiles, would it all be Batmobiles or do you think it would interchange? And I'm not asking you to create your list right now, but
I would be a mix.
It'd be a mix.
Yeah.
A mix. Okay.
The bat would be in there for sure.
Okay.
The bat would be in there.
Batpod would be in mine.
All right.
Instantly. But then I don't know.
Batpod would be in there too. That would be a tough. Maybe we'll do that show. All bat vehicles.
Yeah, but I don't know if it would be because we've just said all of them, but I don't know. Maybe if that would still if it generate enough interest of we've done them separately now everything together.
Ooh, that's tough. Really,
I don't think my top 2. Yeah. Okay, there you go. So it would be okay. I think we both just answered it. We would mix it. It wouldn't just be one.
Yeah.
One thing.
And these are fluid. As I said, they're not. Don't set them in concrete. Don't set them in stone. Don't make a monument because on a different day I could have a different.
I got to make some calls. They're already starting to make a monument.
Yeah. All right.
BOF's rankings.
All right. You know what? I did a social hour podcast with Rip Van Winkle himself, Boudin Pockets, Pete Vera.
Yep,
and we talked about the recent, the Variety article by Tatiana Siegel with all the Aquaman 2 drama, DC drama. Any thoughts on that? I always give you a chance to comment.
I know you give me a chance, and I go no.
Okay.
I'm just like no. I liked the Aquaman 2 trailer. I'll be there opening weekend. Judge it for myself. All this other stuff's just noise.
What would you?
I like James Wan as a director. I like his movies. He's a good director. Period. So he's got a movie that's coming out. I'm gonna see it because I really like him as a director. So
I know he did the first two, but I'm a fan of the Conjuring series.
His first 2 Conjurings.
So,
he did,
and I like
first
Aquaman.
2 Insidious movies. I think it was it Death Wish? It's Kevin Bacon. That was a gnarly movie. He did the first Saw movie. Like he's got a lot of he's got his hands on a lot of movies. So yeah, I like him.
One question I need to ask you, since you brought this character up.
Oh geez.
How would you feel if Batmite was the reason that the old DCU came to be the new DCU with new versions? He was, did some magical fifth dimension. Is he from the fifth dimension? Batmite? I'm not a Batmite expert. Don't take my Bat card away, please. But anyway.
I'm not an expert on Batmite, basically because my limited exposure to him. I like blunt. I think he's kind of a stupid character and he's annoying to me. Just both of those. He has his fans. Good for them. I'm glad those people get what they want out of him. I don't. I actively pretty much avoid if he's gonna pop up. The most tolerable version to me is the Brave and the Bold.
That's the only version I've liked.
Still, I can't say that I'm like, ooh, yeah, I like him in that. So I think an inclusion of him in any regard whatsoever will not get me excited for whatever that is.
I concur. All right. So with that,
sorry.
No, I concur. Just there you go.
Does not excite me for whatever it could be.
Like him in The Brave and the Bold. That's my favorite animated series for a variety of reasons I've talked about before. But
Christopher Nolan does it's a movie. It's called Batmite, directed by Christopher Nolan.
I'm all in.
Okay. I'm so curious. Sure, let's see what the hell he comes up with.
Yeah.
That's about it. Or David Fincher does a very dark rated R serial killer Batmite. And I'm
like that Winnie the Pooh killer, Winnie the Pooh,
which I just watched and was surprisingly kind of entertained by. It's ridiculous.
Okay.
Yeah. But give me the Batmite version of that and then we can talk. But
okay.
Up until that,
Instead of Batman v Superman, about Batmite v Mr. Mixoplex, whatever he is.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about that.
No.
Unless directed by a film by Christopher Nolan or David Fincher.
Oh, Batmite. Please don't do that. Okay. Anyway. All right.
Anyways, I do. Batman-on-film.com. Because recently the BOF podcast, the original BOF podcast, had a very special guest. Sean Murphy returned, his third appearance on the podcast. Talked about, basically gets some post-mortem, as I like to say, thoughts on Beyond the White Knight. A good conversation with that. And then we talked about his Kickstarter project, Zorro, which has gotten off to a very solid start. And he gives some cool insight in that. And as we all know, Bill, it's all connected.
It like kicked
Zorro
ass
on Batman
instantly. Yeah, it is.
It did.
Connected. Yeah.
They surpassed their goal. I don't even know, like 2 hours, if that, even 30 minutes. I think it was 30 minutes. Surpassed the goal at 30 minutes. When I first put the podcast up in the link, I checked it. It hadn't gone live. I mean, literally not too long, a couple hours maybe after I checked, and poof, met their goal. I'm like, wow. Yeah, firing on all cylinders. But he's very easy to talk to. Nice guy to talk to. And apparently him coming on is very painless on his end. So Phew, that's a little bit of a relief. And then I know it's a little, what do you want to say? Some mature talk, but it's because of the content. When we talk about Azzarello, we're talking about his Batman Damned #1 issue, which got all the headlines in 2018 for ridiculous reasons. No pun intended. But yeah, overall, just great listen. Good talk
Got that.
with him. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, check Batman on Film where you have that posted, the BOF podcast feed at the point of this recording two recordings ago. I highly recommend to listen, not because of me, but because of him. And then also my podcast, Batman Book Club. Bill generously posts those episodes on the website. Most recent one was with Minnesota's finest, Garrett Grev, suffering a tough day today. Twins got knocked out, but MLB postseason. But we had a good conversation talking a Superman comic, but Batman is in it.
Yeah, that's your rule. That Batman has
that's
to
my
play
rule.
important. Got to
That's
be
right.
in and play an important role, right?
Pretty simple rule, right? It seems like it. Otherwise, why is it called the Batman Book Club? But check that out. And then there's something cooking for the next episode that I think like all signs point to it's going to work out. But you know me, Bill. I don't like to mention it specifically until it's happened. So yeah, pay attention to Batman on Film and the Batman Book Club.
Here's a question for you in regards to the Batman Book Club. And it's probably a dumb question because of the amount, the volume of the material you have. Is it ever get tough coming up with a story topic?
No.
That's what I figured.
The only challenge is October's. This is the 4th time now. I like to do a spooky month and seasonal fitting stories, Batman stories.
Yeah.
Which there's a lot of, like horror Batman stories and fun Halloween stories with Batman and stuff. And so usually I rile up the Bat Boys each year and they each pick one. That's the only one. That's the only time it can get a little challenging because you're narrowing it even more now of trying to find, okay, is it like horror-ish, so werewolves or vampires or something that takes place on Halloween and stuff like that. So that's the only challenge. Otherwise, no, anytime it's rallying up a guest, they've got a book in mind. Hell, it's hard for them to choose one. They're like, well, I was thinking this, or this, but we can only choose one. So it'll go on until I don't find it fun anymore. That's kind of my rule.
Well, that would be like never, right?
Yeah. So I'll probably die first.
How's it not fun talking about Batman?
Batman? I don't know. Ask some of these other dorks.
You do that for Christmas too, right? During the holiday season?
Yeah, and Haas and I have an idea. I think what we're going to do this year will be a little different, but very fitting. Which we only do one. Last year was the Frank Miller's first Batman comic, the Santa one. And the one before that was the Batman Adventures, the special. And then the first year was Noel.
So have you seen the McFarlane Batman Santa Claus figures?
Yeah.
Okay. It's all connected, right?
It's all connected, yeah. Surprisingly, I'm not going to get it because I don't know if you remember 2 years ago, I think, Funko released DC Christmas Funkos, and Batman is Scrooge and Joker is Santa Claus. And I picked both of those up, and I'm like, that's peak Christmas Batman toy for me. I know this is literally Batman dressed up as Santa Claus, but I like the Funko even more. So I'm just like, no, I think I'm good.
Okay. I will probably not be getting that either. So, all right. Like Ryan, just batman-on-film.com. I told the story of why there are the dashes.
Right.
You can check that out on a couple of social hour podcasts back. I don't know. So if you want to know what that
135, maybe.
So there you go.
34. Yeah.
Take that,
there.
Justin Kowalski and
take it to
Peter
the
Vera. Yeah, take that. I explain why. You don't
Pete
like
gets
it.
a little feisty. Pete gets feisty.
Yeah, if you don't like it.
When he hasn't had his boudin,
beans.
He's cranky.
That's the first thing he does when he gets up in the morning.
grabs the one out of his pocket right there in
Grabs
bed.
it out
and
of his
just,
pocket, yeah.
just starts chowing down.
I think that's about it. I'll just crossing my fingers. We're going to start getting, the Batman news and whatnot. And I read this morning that the studio's producers and the actors have stopped talking because they weren't being productive.
Yep.
So what the hell? Come on now, people.
It's pretty crazy to me, because you need faces for your material, and the fact it surprises me that I don't know, none of my business. I'm just a fan, but
Yeah.
I'm just kind of surprised it's still going on.
Yeah, it is.
That's
So,
all.
Come on now, let's go. Besides that, just go to Batman on Film. Like I said, announcer Rachel will finish up here, and we'll catch you next time.
You have been listening to the BOF Social Hour, Jett's official podcast on Batman on Film. Follow BOF on Threads at The Batman on Film. Follow BOF on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Batman on Film. To help keep BOF up and running, go to patreon.com/BatmanOnFilm, or you can buy BOF a beer at buymeacoffee.com/TheRealBatmanOnFilm. For Jett and everyone at BOF, I'm announcer Rachel. Authoritative, definitive, the original, Batman on Film, founded in 1998.
Say goodbye, Graceland.